Something else you said recently is that the human species doesn't like boundaries, and that the moment there's a threat to our survival, we kind of build boundaries, and we're usually trying to expand all the time. I'm just wondering what you're seeing here as far as this boundary to us, and it's a threat for our expansion. Is that why we react in this way to it?
No, I think this reaction is mostly people fear either they will… Fear of death is one thing definitely, because that's an imminent possibility. And another thing is loss of economic well-being maybe. And for other people, it's loss of their liberty. For other people, it's loss of they can't go and sit in the pub. It's loss of, restrictions on their compulsive behavior in many ways. They don't see this as a great opportunity to stay at home, to spend some time with themselves, improve themselves, spend some time with the family. No, it seems that domestic violence is going up almost 100% in many countries. In various countries, domestic violence has gone up in a huge way. In some countries, up to 100% increase in the domestic violence complaints. So, if we get time to be with each other, then we will battle each other because we don't know how to be with anybody. These are not some strangers that you're locked up with. You're not Robinson Crusoe, on a deserted island. You're just with your family. People that you consider and claim are your loved ones. And 15 days, woof, you freaked out, you can't stay with them. So it's time to examine the nature of who we are, how we are keeping ourselves, what is the nature of our relationships. First of all, we are being referred to as human beings. No other creature on this planet is referred to as a being. All of them are creatures. There is no elephant being or tiger being or anything like that, only human being. So the most fundamental qualification to be a human being is that you know how to be. Oh, how far from the definition are we? Do people know how to be? If they knew how to be, every opportunity is a possibility. Even this, though it has an economic cost, maybe it could be fatal for many people, but still, even this is a possibility if we know how to be. Right now, human beings are a bundle of thoughts, emotions, ideas, opinions, prejudices, and above all, compulsions. Because of that, this collage of things that we have put together as me right now or as myself, this is causing all the trouble. So, everything that you think, everything that you feel, including your physical body, is something that you slowly gathered over a period of time. Now, what you gather can be rearranged in your home, furniture can be rearranged. But if you try to rearrange furniture, there'll be domestic situation because somebody else doesn't like it. They want everything status quo. So this is a good time that you break the status quo of who you are and see if you can transform yourself into a better human being. See if you can transform yourself into a more wonderful presence to be. See if you can become that wonderful person that you always wanted to meet. You become that wonderful person. Don't search for them.
How do we start that?
They're an extinct species.
How do we start that process? Is it meditation, reflection? Like, how can we start that new relationship with ourselves?
Well, the simple thing is, now that the situation is forcing people to be away from everything else for some time, in the yogic system, out of the eight… you must have heard of the 8 limbs of yoga. It's called Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. One of the limbs of yoga is called Pratyahara. Pratyahara means, see, most of the time in your life, you're perceiving everything through your senses. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste and what you touch. This is how you know there is a world around you. This is what is giving you all the information. This information is all given to you in parts, only to the extent it is necessary for your survival. That is why human beings are such a mess. See, right now if you see this part of my hand, you cannot see this part of my hand. So you will see this part of my hand and make your conclusions about my hand. But the moment I turn around, you know it's an Indian hand. This way I could be anybody, but this way this is an Indian hand, all right? So for everything, even if you take a grain of sand, you only see one part of it. This is the nature of sense organs. It cannot perceive everything as it is, it only perceives in parts to the extent it is necessary for your survival. Anything beyond survival, it doesn't tell you because that's not its business. But once you come as a human being, survival is not good enough. Suppose we give you food and shelter to live, we will make sure you get food for the rest of your life. Will you just live happily in one room? You will not, because you will want something more. If we give you that something more, you will see by evening you will want something more. This will go on endlessly if we give you the planet and make Brian the king of this planet. Will he settle? No, he will look at the stars. If I give you one galaxy, will you settle? No, you will want the next one. Because this is the nature of being human. There is something within us which does not like boundaries. There is something within us that is constantly seeking boundlessness. But right now, because we have kept ourselves unconscious, it is seeking this unconsciously through physical means. Through physical means, if you try to reach boundlessness, inevitably you will be frustrated. Why I'm saying this is, the nature of physical existence, why physical exists is only because of a defined boundary. If there is no defined boundary, there is no physicality. If I remove the boundaries of my body, there is no such thing as physical body anymore. So, physicality exists because of boundaries, but there is something within you which wants to go beyond all boundaries. So, when you make an attempt through physical means, if you try very basic physical expansion of yourself, this is called sexuality. If you attempt this with your thought, this is called ambition, conquest, accomplishments. If you try with your emotion, this is called a love affair. If you do it consciously, it's called yoga. Yoga means union. This is one definition, Brian, we must change in UK or wherever people get to reach you, that yoga does not mean twisting and turning and Lululemon pants and that kind of stuff. What yoga means is union, that your idea of you being an individual is just your idea. Nobody believes it. You ask the tree, it's laughing at you because it knows without it giving out oxygen you cannot breathe. It always knew. Only now human beings are realizing after taking away too many trees from the planet. So, our existence here is not individual, it is happening as a composite whole. But in our thought and emotion, we have started taking our individuality rather too seriously, so seriously that we are suffocating. This suffocation, you give grand names like I have depression, I have manic depression, I have this, I have that. All that's happening is you are suffocating in your own physical boundaries because you made it so constricted. If we don't understand what I'm saying, you can keep your mouth closed and hold your nose like this for 2 minutes, that you don't want to breach your boundaries, you want your boundary to be absolute, then you understand what happens to life.
And so this is a great time for us to realize that this is the human nature, to try to expand beyond our boundaries, and that's to a certain extent futile. And so we should have or meditate on the fact that that is not who we are, and that we are more than that.
If I can correct this a little bit, the question, because we are not trying to expand, we want to become boundless. Because our thought is going in incremental process, we think the way to go towards infinity is in installments. This is like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one day I will say infinite. Is it possible?
No.
We'll only become endless counting. So we are not looking for expansion, we are not looking for more, we are looking for all. But right now it's finding expression in installments, that is the main problem.